Trying to get everything live here. So it looks like Facebook just went live. Both Facebooks went live. Just need, obviously, YouTube to go live here. And I think YouTube is loading. So I'm going to pin that comment. And hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, just getting my morning cardio session done here. Hopefully I set this to public. It looks like we did. Somehow I occasionally manage to forget that. I don't know how that happens, but looks like we're public on YouTube. We went ahead and did a good run. So I had a good workout. I just put the vlog up for everybody. I had a decent run, like whatever, 26, 27 minutes. I'm not doing a full hour post-workout. I get in and do the bike later. And I was thinking my times were really bad, but I actually hit record mile times for that run. So we're closing in on that goal of kind of something I've said I really want to shoot for with the running. I want to be able to consistently hit 25-minute 5Ks pretty much every day, even if I run longer than a 5K, because I usually do. I want to hit that. And it's like I'm getting actually pretty close, at this point to where I'm going to be able to do that. I don't think I'm far away. Because then ideally, if I run 25 minutes or whatever, 26 post lifting, I want to get a 5K in inside that time, right? So either squat and deadlift, do full workout, get in and do that. Would actually be really preferable for me. It's what I would like to see happen. So we're going to keep pushing the running. So you guys will notice the adjustments on the program for that. Let me go ahead and put in the community tab that this is live so it hits people's feeds better. All right. Want to know that I have coaching slots and consultation slots open also, by the way, for people chiming in. As soon as you guys get in here on YouTube, please click like. Facebook's still a little slow. But yeah, so we want to get a good cardio session in here. Ideally, I'd like to hit an hour or more here. I can always wait to eat. Not really a big deal, right? Not really a big deal if I need to wait to eat just a little bit. Especially if I want to get leaner. So doing more fasted cardio to hold off the feed window, I don't think that's a bad thing. All right. Keep this going. And yeah. All right. So what do we have here? No comments yet on YouTube, but we put it into the community tab. That will tend to get people in here a little bit quicker. When I do that the last few times, I started putting into people's feeds. Once the regulars hit, then we should be good to go. So yeah, I felt like I was really tired during the run today, but interestingly enough, I had better times than my last post-workout run. So I actually got faster. I ran more distance with less minutes per mile. So I had faster mile times, for a post-workout run. And I'm keeping those to right about 30 minutes or a little under. But again, I also did sled work today too. So, we did the lifting, then I did the sled, and then I did the running. Whereas in the normal longer runs, when I'm hitting that hour, we're doing it completely fresh. All right, speaking of kind of the whole fake natty thing in the title here, I actually went and watched. I rarely watch YouTube Fitness. I watched Nippard's whole thing with the fake natty stuff. And yeah, he's defending that Isaiah guy. And a bunch of people in the comments jumped on and were like, yeah, dude, you totally didn't even address any of this stuff. It's not just the guy's fat-free mass index. It's how he looks and how badly he trains. And I think that's something that people brought up in that conversation. That's almost its own topic. I feel like maybe that needs to be addressed. I don't want to jump into a lot of drama because I tend to get along with Jeff. But I mean, it's like, come on, dude. You're literally defending a guy who is using plenty of gear and is really lazy in his training. That's all I'm saying. Ron says, did you see the study of energy drinks to reduce muscle growth, Greg Doucette? No, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I haven't seen the studies, but I don't advocate people drink a bunch of garbage like that. Like, I'm not big on energy drinks and stuff. I don't know why people need them. But all things considered, I mean, is it a surprise? Considering that even the most prized pre-workout that got outlawed, crazed, when they did a serious study on it, it caused no improvements in muscular strength. Okay, even though it had perception of better workouts. So pre-workout's kind of falling in that same category. And I think people need to think about that in context. They say, but we don't take a pre-workout to make more gains. Really? So you don't think that you're taking it to make more gains? So if you take a pre-workout, you're not going to make any more progress than if you don't. Because that's what the research showed on it. And it's like, so then you're just throwing your money away. Because what it showed is even though it gave the perception of better workouts, it didn't lead to any more muscle growth or strength gains. That's kind of a big deal, guys. All right, that's kind of a big deal. All right, this is enough for my profile just to get some, well, I might let it run a little longer. I might let the profile run just to get some traffic. So no, I haven't seen that study, and I don't really watch Greg Doucette. Don't really care to see what Greg has to say about it. I might look into the study and see if it's a well-done study. But I mean, it's no surprise. And the reason I was saying that, we come back to that stuff on the pre-workout thing. So what does that tell us? That one craze, which was, again, so strong that it got outlawed, when it was studied, it caused, in 10 weeks, 0 improvements in muscular strength versus the people who didn't take it, even though they had a perception of a better workout. What does that tell you? The placebo alone should have given results, but it didn't. Let me be clear. When you give people fake steroids and tell them you're giving them a steroid and it's just a sugar pill, they always gain more muscle and strength in the studies. Yet pre-workouts with the perception of a better workout doesn't cause any benefit. What's the possible explanation? That it's doing something to blunt muscle growth that is as strong as the placebo effect benefits it. Because the belief alone, the placebo alone, should have caused muscle growth and better workouts if we look at consistently when fake drugs and stuff are given. So that tells us pre-workouts are blunting muscle growth in some way with enough physiological response to offset the placebo benefit. So it could be the similar with energy drinks. Maybe they're interfering with recovery. Maybe the nervous system stimulus that people are getting from them that's hyping them up is impeding recovery times. And if you're impeding recovery times, you're going to gain less muscle. So we have possible mechanisms to explain these things. So there is that, Ron. All right, it's probably enough for the profile. I'm going to chill on this. Turn it into a reel. Right. So that's my my take on that. Anybody else? There we go. First like in there. It might be a regular. Might have a regular. Ron, do you buy into you can only absorb so much protein in one sitting? Not only do I not buy into that, literally nobody buys into that. That has been debunked with so many studies over the last 15 to 20 years that only a complete ignoramus even believes it. In fact, who made that rumor up? Where did it come from? Supplement companies made that rumor up to sell people more protein shakes to drink between meals. Literally a myth created by the supplement industry, not based upon reality. So why would anybody have ever believed it? And it's been because it was such a pervasive myth. A lot of people had to study it to say, hey guys, look, this is nonsense. So it's been debunked. Now, we're talking the limits people put. Obviously, there's a practical limit. I mean, there is most likely going to be a limit. Like you're probably not going to absorb 500 grams of protein in a single meal, right? Because it's going to exceed a 24-hour absorption time. But the last major study that was done on this, they compared 30 grams to 100 grams of protein post-workout. And they got full benefit from the 100 grams. They got all the same muscle protein synthesis that they should have from 100 grams. It was like so basically it spiked up to the same level that 30 grams did, but it sustained it for 3 times as many hours. Yes, Dean, we are live. Appreciate it, brother. Tell them hit that like button. We got Dean in the house. Dean in the house. Dropping them likes. All right. Scott, I know people need them too. It's because they're addicted to pre-workouts, which is the whole point. They're intended to be an addictive product. It doesn't really do anything, but then people think they need them. Then they get mad when you say they don't need them. You know, just like an alcoholic gets mad when you tell them they don't need alcohol. But look at all the blowback I got this week about that on Facebook, man. But I'm making a bunch of money off of it. Like I'm actually screenshotting the people getting angry and insulting my physique and telling me I look horrible and I'm weak as a response to the alcohol thing. I've been screenshotting and putting them on blast, and I'm making money off of the engagements. In fact, one of them came in and he's posted like 30 times in response, just hate, referencing hate videos on me on YouTube. And he's like, he is literally putting like a dime in my pocket every single time he posts. Like literally. And he's just gone, just letting him spam it and argue with people. And I'm just watching the money climb. So, you know, that's why I've unbanned all the trolls on here, man. I don't know where they're at. You know, so I mean, but yeah, people got really angry that I say fitness influencers shouldn't be promoting alcohol. Like if you have 1 million followers as a fitness person and it says fitness all in your stuff, and you're posting up pictures of you buying alcohol, drinking alcohol, I'm going to call it out on my page. I'm not going to their page. I'm going to put a screenshot and call it on my page. And then their fans get angry and attack you. And then you make money off of it. So, but yeah, I mean, people get addicted to pre-workouts. And I had a troll years ago call me angry, screaming at me for my position on pre-workouts. He literally blew a gasket, screaming at me on the phone over it. Future X, do you think Flex Little's natural? No. What sort of dumbass thinks he's natural? Like who would, how can I put this? How stupid does a person have to believe to think he's natural? I mean, any fitness personality jumps up and starts screaming natural. It's just your knee-jerk response should be, yeah, I doubt it. Like, come on. Just like Jeff said in that video he just made, because that was linked to me and I actually did watch it. Well, you know, because of people like Liberty and people just doubt everyone. Now, they should doubt them. Like, what do you mean? The whole fake natty thing has been a scam forever on the internet. They should doubt everyone who jumps up and screams they're natural with a great physique, especially if they're marketing it. They're making money on it. The default assumption should be they should be on gear and lie about it. If they're actually trying to make money, they should use gear and then lie about it. That's the business model. Okay, that is the proven effective business model in online fitness. Use steroids, abuse them at high doses, claim natural. Rinse, repeat over and over. Like it's the proven business model with a proven track record of consistency over and over and over. I don't think he's natural, but so many people defend him saying he's natty. I'm not doing the guitar on here, dude. This is a fitness channel only. Yeah, people defending it. I mean, they're clowns, dude. Why would anybody defend these fake natties? I mean, why is Jeff defending a fake natty, that Isaiah guy? Have you guys seen him train? Like, I don't care how good your genetics are. When you train like a grandma, like when you have no work capacity, no strength, and you train like that, and you look like that, I don't care how good your genetics are. I don't care if you're the most genetically gifted bodybuilder on the face of the earth. You don't look like he does, training like he does, without a lot of drugs. And no, he doesn't look natty anyways, but the point is, when you are drug-free, legitimately natty, you can't train like he does. You're just simply not going to get results. These guys are thinking about money before health. Yeah. Hey, Carol, appreciate the like, brother. Appreciate it. I'm also on Facebook. These haters will snap under 500 pounds. They will, man. I'm going to get back to a 500 beltless squat while we hammer this cardio. I can't believe I PR'd my run time this morning. I was complaining in that run. I'm like, guys, I did sled work first. I did deadlifts first. I feel like I'm running slow. I PR'd my time. I had the fastest average run time of any run I've done so far. I'll put it up later. It's already should be logged in Strava, but I screenshotted it. My run time was down. Imagine if steroids and everything. Dude, Steve Reeves would have God tier physique. Richard, more cardio, the hardest. We got it. I'm staying on top of the fitness, guys. Like, this is 3 types of cardio. I did sled work. So we did normal lifting, we did box work, we did sled work. Then I ran. PR run time. Now we're going to just get some nice, slow, steady lifts on the bike before breakfast. I want to get really, 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 really fit. I want to get my conditioning to a high level. All right. I'm already pretty strong. Right? And the conditioning going up will get me leaner and leaner. Right? You can only do so many hundreds of hours of running fasted. But no, feed me pretty much. If steroids never existed, Steve Reeves, and I do believe Steve Reeves was natural, by the way. Logistically, as someone who fully understands the history of steroids or availability, I am convinced Steve Reeves is natural. It's not a question of is that obtainable natural? That's irrelevant. I'm convinced due to the timeline and his history that he was natural. Like I would be willing to bet my life on push come to shove. So we come over to Steve Reeves would still be God tier physique, Mr. Olympia level physique, right? If steroids never existed, Steve Reeves would be on the Olympia lineup. I'm talking 1958 Mr. Universe winner Steve Reeves. That would be what your Olympia lineup would look like. Future Jeffers, another guy pretends to believe these guys. He can't possibly believe it. Can you get shredded with junk and diet with insane calorie burn? Sure. So Richard Sparks says Steve Reeves is strong. He was. No, Benjamin. I'm prioritizing pull-ups right now. I like rows, but pull-ups just really made my back so much wider. Let's be fair. My back got significantly wider. My V-taper did when I prioritized pull-ups. And don't get me wrong, I like rows. I really like seal rows, to be fair. But I'm going to prioritize them, man. Marvin Elder was a freak. Marvin Elder had insane genetics. Augury. And he was probably natural. A lot of us don't want to admit that. Let me go over to Google if I'm remembering what I think he looks like. Right? Yep. Marvin Elder. I mean, that dude had definitely some genetics. But that's what we're talking about. Those rare genetic freaks would be someone like Marvin Elder, Let me check his timeline now. Let me see if I can find a Wikipedia. We can kind of see where he was at. So he was definitely, his strength. Dude was freaking strong. That dude was strong as hell. Yeah. But realistically, a lot of people don't want to look at someone like Marvin Elder and say, was he natty? He probably was, guys. Big up, coach. Great job earlier. Peppermint, I was talking about it was going to be a slower run. I PR'd my run times. Even though I felt slow, I felt tired, especially after doing the sled first. It was actually a PR run time on the mile time. So I literally ran further than I did the last 26-minute post-workout run. I put in more actual distance because I ran faster. So I screenshotted it. Like I said, I'll put it up later. I mean, I'm happy about that. So it means we're just getting faster and faster. And I did it after deadlifting and pushing a sled. So again, happy about that. But yeah, I did today. If you guys watch the vlog, I'm kind of doing what I used to do. I don't think I need to squat and deadlift every session. I don't need 2 different chest presses. It's like 1 serious lower body, 1 chest press, 1 back lift, 1 overhead press, 4 serious lifts. Do some abs, do the jumping, do the sled. Yeah, feed me. I kind of did it today. So I think I want to alternate bench, flat bench, incline, flat bench, incline. I want to alternate deadlift, squat. But I think I need to be press dominant like I used to be, right? Finish with doing overhead press every workout, whether we flat bench, whether we incline or whatever first we do an overhead. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. Like I used to train. I have a lot of clients on full body training that way. Some of my guys do squat bench dead all 3 days, but they don't do a lot of other stuff. Yeah, I appreciate it, feed me. Just keep in mind, you won't quite have the same specificity, but you are, because let's say you bench every other workout. You're still benching every 4 days. Good morning, Paul. How you doing, man? We're getting all this cardio did. PR'd the run time. The workout was tough. I couldn't deadlift very effectively today. Like I had to scale it back a hair because I had serious hamstring drums from the hour-long PR run. So my hamstrings were actually hurting, especially my left one. But I still managed to deadlift. Oh, man. I appreciate the super chat, brother. So let's read this out because, again, we got it because it was a nice big super chat. Mr. Blaha, I love your content advice. Because of you, I'm creating content and working on my strength and conditioning certificate. We provide honest and realistic advice for audience. Keep up the good work. Hey, man, that's awesome. I appreciate the thank you. I appreciate the super chat. And I love the fact that you're going to create content. You're going to be a coach and that you want to give good advice and realistic goals for people. That's what it's all about. And I actually take it on myself to try to help that next generation of coaches, because I'm not going to be doing this forever. I'm not going to be around forever. So those of us who've been here and done these things, we have an obligation to teach that next group of coaches coming up so that you guys can put out good information and help your clients and do stuff, But let's hop over to Carol up here above. Without good numbers on big dumbbells, Natties cannot be jacked at all. The protein of roll. I agree. Without being strong, naturals are never jacked. Ron Jones, will eating junk with insane fat grams make body consumption system worse even if you burn it up? Not if you burn it off, but, realistically, you're really, really, how do I put it? You're trying to paddle upstream, right? Do rows bring more to the table for overall back development? Maybe yes, Benjamin. But if you're deadlifting, that goes down. So here's the problem, Benjamin. I deadlift all the time. So the problem is if you were to pick one movement Yes, the row brings a little more to the table. Okay. But if you're deadlifting, all the benefits of the row start to drop way down, and the pull-up starts bringing a lot more to the table. Make sense? So if you combine a pull-up with a deadlift, you're going to have better back development than if you just did rows. But if you only did one exercise, rows are probably going to balance out better. Right? Marco, we're doing squats on Monday, leg press on Wednesday, and leg extensions on Friday? No, that's not full body. No. Like if you want to deadlift and then do some leg, because no, you're not doing the big movement. You need a big movement for it to truly be full body, really and truly. Well, especially a leg extension and calling it full body. Come on, Marco. No. What's your decision-making process in deciding to revamp? Feels, experience, having to look at my recovery, looking at what I'm doing with my goals. So in my case, what I'm doing with it now, I have to streamline it more because I'm going to keep hammering the running and conditioning. I can't have any junk volume in my training if I'm going to go crazy hard on this running. I can't afford junk volume. I'm not going to grow or adapt to it anyways, so it needs to be not there. So I'm also looking at how did I train when I was actually, everyone's like, dude, you were really jacked, just not quite as lean. You were jacked as hell and stacked. Even arms looked big. I'm also looking at that training of what I did. And then I'm comparing with what I do with a lot of you guys, my clients, and I'm adjusting. I'm actually training myself as of now the way I would a client. Okay. Instead of I'm limitless recovery, I can handle limitless volume. I am literally looking at my own workouts the way I would a client who's paying me. Right? How flexible should my hips be for sumo deadlifts? They need to be pretty flexible. You think turkey bacon's healthy because it's refined meat? You know it's healthy. It's leaner than pork, but it's still a refined meat with serious carcinogens added. Right? So if you have all these nitrates even in your lunch meats, it's the problem with bacon and refined red meats is the double punch. It's because they're insanely high in saturated fat and they're chock full of all these nitrates and cancer-causing preservatives. It's the double whammy. So with the turkey bacon, sure, it's healthier than normal bacon, but it's still refined garbage. It still may give you butt cancer. Stomach cancer, colon cancer, intestinal cancer. Marco, I deadlift also. That was just for quads, typically for hip hinge. Good mornings on Monday. Marco, that's too much for me to go through and figure out what you're doing with the routine and the live, though. That's kind of consultation to where we go through and look at it. With doing full body, you're able to lift. What? Yes. Thoughts on pause deadlifts? They're very specific, right? I think pause deadlifts are very specific weak point fix. And if you don't need them, I don't think that they're a good use of your training time. If you need them due to your exact sticking point, though, I think that they can bring quite a bit to the table. When doing full body, you're able to lift more weights for each body part. This is often overlooked positive. Yeah, and as long as you're getting sufficient volume, and remember, you're re-stimulating it later. So really, 3 hard sets, like you said, more workload per set. 3 hard sets done 3 times a week for a muscle is a pretty good amount of stimulus. Yeah, Shamar, refined meats are never ideal. They're never going to be ideal. We just don't have anybody on the Facebook. That's weird. Oh, well. It happens. Facebook's been blowing up, though. Like my views and hits are like climbing this week. Is there much of a difference on what muscles get used on a close grip versus wide grip on overhead press? Oh, man. Yes, but there's a lot of nuance to that. right? In theory, the closer you get, the less side delt, hypothetically, and the more tricep. But isn't any gym has a reverse hyper? Lots of gyms have reverse hyper. So you do 0 refined meats. I don't generally do refined meats now. I mean, I'm not saying I never do if I'm out somewhere and I need something, but as far as buying them, I don't keep them around. Not in a long time. Been watching your videos lately. You're super underrated. Thank you, Jake. I wasn't always. I used to be pretty popular 12 years ago. Should you drink sugary drinks at all for health? No. If you care about your health, you don't drink sugary drinks. What did the last meta-analysis on sugary drinks say? The one done 2 months ago. It concluded that one sugary drink a week is enough to increase cancer risk by a small margin. Diet soda is probably fine. You know, I mean, I don't recommend you live on diet soda per se, but dramatically better than drinking a sugary drink by any measurable metric. Like I know some, but even then, in the grand scheme of things, the data on aspartame shows that we're within the safe limits for what most people are consuming. Like a liter of diet soda a day is not going to put you at any risk by any metric that we have, right? It seems as you have a bigger lower body. My legs grow easy. I don't really have a small upper body by any means, to be fair. My legs do grow easy. So even one sugar drink per week has a negative effect. Let's say a glass of Coke from a non-diet per week. Yeah, Marco, that's not my opinion. That is literally what a major meta-analysis showed 2 months ago. That looked at refined meats, looked at any form of trans fat, and it looked at sugar-sweetened beverages. And they concluded that one sugary drink a week was enough to increase both cancer and diabetes risk by a small amount. What about coffee before workout? I drink coffee every morning. I'm a coffee addict, though, to be fair. Because what research have you seen on running on barefoot on concrete? I can find another person. Well, I don't see a problem, David. Barefoot running in general is better for you. That's generally agreed upon by many podiatrists. There have been research on just barefoot running. I mean, I like doing the concrete. So I enjoy it. I'm going to keep doing it. I don't think they're specifying always concrete versus other non-concrete, by the way. It's just barefoot running. I think you're jumping into looking for subcategories that are not always being measured. It's barefoot running. It's not, so if you're looking for data, it's often not going to be specified. Same with, yeah, I eat red meat. I generally recommend sticking with leaner cuts though. Same will apply with sweets and chocolate though, since it's refined sugar. Yeah, I mean, you should generally avoid refined sugars. I mean, Marco, are you wanting me to answer that? Or are you looking for hard research? I'm going to generally tell you to avoid refined sugars. You know, now we're getting down to tit for tat if you want me to tell you the exact limit. Well, I can't do that, brother. I would just tell you generally want to avoid it. No, if you're wearing the minimalist shoes, that's not actual barefoot. Benjamin is right. Legs are more important for health than upper body. True, yeah. I mean, if you look at what happens with health benefits, technically you would want to focus more on lower body if health was your only concern. But realistically, you want to build everything, right? If you really want to be as healthy as possible, you really want to add muscle to your whole frame. Is eating 1,800 calories in a cut safe for a 5-foot man? Man, I can't even imagine that. We're getting down to brass tacks here just as a coach and avoid. Yeah, I mean, coach, well, I want to monitor how much refined sugar can I eat? That's like, how about you just avoid refined sugar? It would be a good idea. I'm not telling you once in a blue moon you can't have some 85% chocolate, but I wouldn't recommend refined sugar in general regularly. Anyone else is annoyed by teens who with sumo strap deadlifts for Super Bowl? Yep. Whippy bars, bumper plates, sumo, and straps is a good way to lift 200 pounds more than your actual real deadlift. Do you think guys who don't have legs are pussies? I don't know that they're always pussies. Like, that's a really big, sweeping statement to make. A pretty big percentage of them don't do it because they are pussies, but all of them, not necessarily. They're being unwise. I think that it's a bad idea. I think they're not taking their health and fitness seriously. Everyone says, yes, Kenshiro, it's annoying, but anything teen. He's right. I mean, they're teens, dude. They're going to tend to be annoying in general to older people. I'm wearing my Vivo Fairfoot. To the gym. Excellent for calf growth. John said they make you look short. Well, who cares? Who cares? I used to wear Vibrams all the time to the gym. I used to wear Vibrams all the time everywhere. With a tall girlfriend who loved to wear heels. Who cares? Nothing beats the strength of plain old conventional deadlift for strength. I mean, maybe deficits. Deficits pretty good. Any peptides you recommend? Not really, no. I mean, if you need growth hormone or you want growth hormone, use growth hormone. I don't know why anyone uses anything else today. The cost of growth hormone, it kind of made all those other peptides obsolete. I don't know why people are even having that conversation in 2025. That was the whole point. They were way cheaper. Save so much money. Growth hormone's cheap today. Growth hormone's as cheap as protein supplements now. So, why do you think so many dudes are getting so big? The cost of testing growth hormone and trend in this era, broke kids can turn into mass monsters. Lean mass monsters too. And they be doing it. I mean, Sam Saluk, anybody? Literally just jumped right into grams and grams of gear plus insulin growth hormone. And just blew up. What about peptides for healing like TBC? To some extent, that can have some, but then again, there have also been people who reported the same effects by simply megadosing growth hormone for a week. I mean, I've heard of it done. It's just that's probably going to give the healing at a lower effective dose. I know people who've had good luck with BBC 157 and the TBC 500. But again, you're talking healing from an injury. Like you're talking about a post-injury benefit. But the side effect free, I don't know. Do we have a lot of real data on long term? I don't know. I don't know that we can say side effect free. But then again, people are using it for short periods of time for an injury. Not necessarily pinning it year round. Yeah, Sam is on a lot of gear. A lot. And it was very obvious. He doesn't have the genetics to do what he's trying to do. And I'm not saying that to be a hater. I'm not saying that to be mean or disrespectful. Some of us just don't have the genetics to do certain things. He is purely a product of drugs. His diet was bad. His training was, and he just exploded from being small. So, and then you saw all the side effects. So he mega dosed way more than he should have been to get big. And all these other bodybuilders, former pros, are like, dude, he doesn't have the genetics for this, and they're right. If you were to estimate how much more upper chest do incline presses work versus flat bench, I don't have an estimate at all. I mean, I could make up a random number. I'm just going to make something up. Please do not quote me on this. I'll just make a random number up since you want one. 17.32%. Thoughts on cable kickbacks for glutes? Waste of time. Drugs and genetics, you can't get his size without. He doesn't have good genetics for bodybuilding. No, you can't if you use enough drugs. I don't think you understand what happens when doses get high enough and you train even remotely hard. Says you were the only viewer. No, David, and it's just not hitting people's feeds yet. So, no, it's good. We don't need to restart it. It does better when it runs longer. The really long ones sometimes get thousands of views after. Can share why waste of time? Because it's a waste of time. It's pretty much a useless exercise for your glutes. You should do something that actually stimulates your glutes. I don't know, a deep squat, some heavy hip hinges. Do you think you need an incline press in a workout if you already have it? It depends on how much. Are you doing a split? Then maybe, yeah. Like if you're trying to do a chest day or a push day, yeah, you might do it just for the variation in the volume. But if you're doing a higher frequency setup, then you may not need both in the same session. You can focus on one or the other. I mean, that's what I did this week, right? I flat benched hard on Wednesday, and then I inclined today. But I'm chest pressing 3 times a week. Yeah. Right. Yeah, can share a glute kickback. I hope we're kidding. It's a complete waste of time nonsense. Thoughts on doing RDLs versus conventional deadlifts? I'm not a powerlifter and just focus on hypertrophy. People doing oh man, we could argue this till we're blue in the face. I think that the conventional deadlift brings more overall hypertrophy to the table. If you're looking specifically at just hamstring, you can make a case for an RDL. Building less overall muscle, but just as much hamstring. Easily as much hamstring, but maybe less total fatigue. You can make a case for that. But even then, the deadlift makes you big. Like if you're talking hypertrophy, I mean the deadlift itself. And that is the evidence-based position. I don't know why some of these evidence-based people are claiming the deadlift. Really, they're clearly not reading studies or looking at real life. If I'm only doing 2 chest exercises per week, what would you complement dips better, incline bench or flat bench? Man, flat bench is going to give you more overall chest than the incline. Incline, though, is going to give you really good carryover to things like the pec minor, also the delts, So it depends on what are you trying to get out of. What are you trying to get out of the press that you're doing? The flat bench is going to give you better overall chest development. Incline with a slight bias towards upper, but it is going to hit those other muscles, especially shoulders and stuff better. It's a better delt exercise. you know. So it's very need specific, really. How to increase wrist mobility for front squats. Stretch them. Lots of stretching. Right? Craig says, "Is this live?" Yeah, it's definitely live, Craig. Although I know you're probably a troll. Hey, Merrick, what's up, dude? One of my regulars. Created a whole new Facebook account. David, is that you? Did you make a whole new Facebook account just to come into my Facebook? I already know you kind of a troll, but it's okay. I'm gonna leave. I'm not doing a lot of banning these days. I'll put people in timeout if need be. I'm only banning trolls who have made videos about me, hate videos. That's enough to say, they probably don't need to be here. Yeah. I think other people are fair play. You know. Let's see. All right. Just going to get some time out. Yeah. Well, some people does stuff does need to go. Do your toes hurt? No. My feet get a little sore from sometimes. Right. Letting haters boost stuff, right? Yep. I mean, a few people will occasionally need to go into timeout, but not banning them per se. Letting them haters boost your stuff, absolutely. I mean, I'm making money off the haters. Even all the one of them this morning, dude. Like, I snapshotted his hate stuff and then called him out on it and put it up in a post because pictures make the most money, right? And he got in arguing. He's posted like 20 times angry long rants and gotten arguments with my followers underneath the snapshot of me calling out him, hating on me and another thing. And I'm just looking at the money on it just climb. Hey, man, you know, probably the way to do it. 50 cents is 50 cents. $50 is $50, man. It all adds up. I remember you saying you broke your toes in the past, haven't been able to do long runs. Yeah, I've broken all my toes numerous times. One of my big toes hasn't been broke. My left one hasn't been broke. My pinkies have probably been broken 5 times each. The pinky toes. Do you think overhead tricep extension is overrated for long hair growth? I think so. I'm doing 40-pound single arm for 10 reps. I haven't found the magical by any means. Yeah, exactly. I think I had a friend of mine, serious lifter, he messaged me. He goes, man, the whole influencer for the past year thing, he's like, has been the obsession with tricep long head. He goes, why don't you guys just get strong at close grip benches? All right. I broke them because I'm clumsy, Alan. I have no sense of balance, and I've had vestibular issues my whole life and ear problems. So I'm really clumsy. No, I usually break them on furniture, stairs, tables, table legs. Yeah, that guy's, Peppermint. But he's just spamming. And it's like, okay, I'm just letting him run with it. And I'm actually telling him, hey, dude, you need to get some mental help for this. And saying, hey, man, I'm sorry for whatever happened to you. Same with a lot of these trolls. Like anyone who gets that obsessed over me, they really is something broken inside. Like if anyone who would literally watch even a crazy ass documentary about a guy who lives on YouTube, actually watch the whole thing. You know what I mean? There's something fundamentally broken with that person, unfortunately. And I can't fix the world, of course. But it's definitely a unresolved mental health problem. We have a mental health crisis, in general. Do you think the Hodge twins are natural? Were they fitness influencers who were jacked and making money? Some weird Filipino guy claims he's having when someone does starting strength for 30 years. He clearly doesn't watch me. Really, all those curls I did, all the conjugate I did, what's he talking about? Yeah, he clearly doesn't watch me. All those months of doing 20 sets of biceps a week, I don't think that's starting strength. Notice though that my biceps didn't really grow. Let's see. I don't know why dudes keep asking me if people are natty. Let's just forget individual people and say, are they a fitness influencer making money off their physique? Then it's just fair to assume they're not natty and just leave all the individual names out of it. There's no need to call out people by name at that point. It's a fake natty industry. You know? Let's see. All right. And David, you sure are obsessed over that. Why don't you talk about some fitness stuff? Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put him in timeout. We already know he's trolling. Let's put him in timeout. Then he'll get angry and have to come post on the Facebook now. Chris Jones has not even doing this for years. You know? Oh, man. I think people spend too much time worried about if influencers are natty. Like, why do you guys care? Why do you would assume they're natty? See what he posts when he comes back. Right? But notice we're not doing the banning. Just being real chill. We're just putting people in timeout. Be a chill, benevolent coach. Thoughts on leg press as a supplemental exercise for the squat and the deadlift? Yeah, I think that leg press can be a great supplemental exercise for the squat and the deadlift. Can share. As long as we're not talking about cable glute kickbacks like you were talking about. Well, leg press can be good. Right? Archives of the Max says, hello. Well, hello to you. No, Peppermint, how about let's not see what he posts? I'll just keep putting the time out. You know. I can't even read half of the comments in the runs, by the way. And since I can't see them later, I don't even know what they're posting. You've run the full gamut of training splits. What's your favorite? My favorite is always whatever I'm doing at the moment, Benjamin. So, Benjamin, let me be clear. At any given time, the training split I am doing that week is my favorite. That is always the answer to the question, irrespective of the year. Is that a fair answer? And that's the way it should be. Your favorite exercise should be the one that you're in the middle of right now. When you're doing deadlifts, the deadlift should be your favorite. Now, you can keep it the deadlift all other times, but if the deadlift is your favorite and you're about to bench press, the bench press has to be your favorite lift. If you're about to do a pull-up, the pull-up needs to be your favorite lift as you approach the pull-up bar. You have to love that exercise. You have to love that exercise as much as you love your family, your mother, everything. Right? So your favorite split should always be the one you are doing right now. Your favorite exercise should always be the exercise you are doing right now. Now, if you had to pick one, Jason, bench press or incline bench press? And I like incline. I like incline a lot. But let's be fair, the bench press is going to build more overall size and strength by a small margin. All right. Put that in timeout. I like the old saying, hate the weight up. I did used to say that, didn't I? Hate the weight up. You can also completely hate the exercise you're doing right now, too. That's also a viable approach, but you need to do something with it. But no, I mean, you can definitely hate the weight up. Not really logical exercise. Sometimes we have to do exercises we don't love. Benjamin? No, you need to learn to love it. So the exercise you hate, you need to love it in the moment. Yeah, that went completely over his head. Exactly. I said, he says, whoosh, exactly. We can do them all. Well, that's why we have the view. Exactly. You can rotate through movements, especially with full body, because again, if you're hitting the ones you want at least once a week, you're still getting that exposure. You know, you don't have to. You can put a heavy bias. When you're doing full body, you do need a bias towards the biggest, most effective exercises. So you can't just say, hey, I'm just going to leg press instead of a structural movement. You know, not always wise. You're missing a lot of exercise economy. Thinking back, I really enjoyed conjugate style just because it was fun. I mean, conjugate can be really fun. It's tedious with the bands and chains and stuff, though, sometimes. And then for me, I hate doing raw weight when I have all the bands and chains because I know they bring a little bit to the table, a little more. They're just such a pain to set them up every speed day. A raw onion is good for testosterone. Why would they be? That's so silly. Eating a good balanced diet and not being fat is good for your testosterone. But people get caught up in these silly, minor, insignificant, that they think they're going to get some great test boost from a single food. I mean, or a single herb. It's like, no, guys. And even if they were, would it really matter in the grand scheme of things? Live a healthy lifestyle. Avoid things that you know destroy testosterone, like being fat, drinking alcohol. And if all that's not good enough, you go to the syringe. Exactly. Do you get your fiber intake up like your own? Well, you don't need to eat like your ancestors did completely. You know, we're not even saying that. Do you ever get sick of lifting weights? No. Being fat helps you lift more. It does, but it's not helping you build more muscle. You're just using fat to leverage more weight up. All right. All right. Down to 194 at around 12% body fat, coach. Looking good. Hey, man, glad to hear it, brother. Glad to hear it. Sounds like you're getting lean and mean, brother. That's good stuff. All right, that is good stuff. Closing in on the hour. I wish you could get taller from more mouth. Like, why do you worry about things that you can't control? That's really a waste of your thought process. You know, I'm going to say that is a loser mentality. You need to just get rid of that mindset completely. Literally wishing for stuff you have no ability to change. Man, you've wasted mental energy. I love kidney beans and rice for fiber too. Lovely meal. Yeah, can be. Very British thing to say. Lovely meal. Boy, mate, that's a lovely bit right there. Will this carry over to athleticism more than flat bench? We could make an argument for that. But if you're doing a lot of other bodyweight stuff, you're doing a lot of other bodyweight stuff. Not every exercise you do has to be, hey, let's get an athletic carryover. But for me, like the benching is the one thing that's going to give less. But I mean, if you're squatting, deadlifting, pull-ups, jumping, you're getting a lot of athletic carryover. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the Facebook. All right, so that's done. Time to wind this down, though. I love you guys, and I will talk to you next time.